once a Tuesday race night. A very warm night here in Melbourne where Josh and myself are. How are you coping with the heat, Josh?
Staying indoors and not venturing out very much.
Watching Zwift and Zwifting.
Watching Zwift.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot one tonight. I'll be racing in the Atlantic time zone in a couple of hours' time. It's not going to cool down much at all.
No.
So that'll be interesting. I can just hear a little bit of echo, just myself.
No, it's all right. It should be gone now.
Sweet.
Yeah. My
Cool.
bad.
All right, well, this week
yes. What are we doing this week, Adam?
Well, given it's
Apart from staying cool.
Yeah, well, hot night. No one's got time to wait around, so we are just going to get this over and done with as quick as possible. We are in with the A graders tonight. We are watching the APAC A2 men's mixed division. So we've got our familiar AHDR colours and a few known names you might recognise from previous Zwiftaholics broadcasts racing tonight, including Adam Evans, who has been a regular feature and who I'm sitting in with to get this started in a few seconds' time. And yeah, competitive league so far, Josh.
Yeah, look, we haven't looked at it too much this season yet. We do know a few of those names from previous seasons as they take off out of the pens. But I was somewhat selfish and just wanted to see what the A grade was doing for my own race tomorrow morning. I mean, if we're going to watch a race, we may as well try and get some of our own selfish benefit out of it. What do you reckon?
Fair enough. I think so. There's got to be some perks to running your own YouTube commentary channel.
Exactly.
We don't get any of the fancy tools that the GCNs of the world get, but that's all right. We have fun and we can pick what we watch. So
we are the commentators of the people, Adam.
Absolutely.
We race ourselves. We are intimate with these races ourselves instead of these people that live in these ivory glass towers. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. This is organic, just pure community content right here. That's what we aim to provide week in, week out.
But hey, if they want to give us a gig, we'll probably take it. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. No questions asked.
But we won't forget the people when we will go there. I think our viewership needs to vote us in to get us to the top, and we will bring it. We will be all about the people when we get there.
Absolutely. We can rise on the shoulders of the people, and I'm sure there'll be our viewership will be knocking down the doors of Zwift HQ demanding that we get elevated to one of the prime.
I think so. Where's Cy Bradley's up there somewhere, isn't he?
Oh, he might be watching. He would be.
That's it.
He'd be up for it for sure.
Well, what's happening in this race, Adam? What are we looking out for? I've got a few ideas and a few things I'm looking for.
Yes, a smallish field, flat-ish course, but one very nasty rise around the top end of the New York map. If you've raced this one, you'd be familiar with it. You might have done some races where you did part of this rise, but not all of it. It just kind of goes on and on and on. It's sort of 7-8%. Always a key decision point. We're going to see some attrition there. I think it's going to be the key. That and the intermediate sprint, for me, absolutely the key to finding features of this one.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, I'm happy to see at the moment these numbers aren't too bad as the riders start off. We sort of are heading towards that north end of the park. And up Harlem Hill it is for memory. So Harlem Hill, and it's going to be crucial for the sprinters in the group to really try and stay with it because me, who's not a sprinter, guess what I'm going to be doing when we hit that corner?
You can just imagine.
I'm going to try and push it out and string it as much as I can and I want my sprinter to stay with us. We've got a designated sprinter for first lap. And then our tactic is actually to be on the offensive throughout the rest of the lap.
Like it. I like it. Always. As a sprinter, I hate this hill. The only good thing I can say about it is that we're not going up the glass roads, which are even worse. But that's pretty much where it ends for me. I do not have a good relationship with this hill. I've been dropped on it many times. I expect the exact same thing's going to happen to me tonight on lap 1. but not going to be the case for all these riders. I'm sure we've got some very strong riders here. Coming through the first tricky kind of part of this course, actually, this descent has caught more than a few races out in the past. So it comes up quite quickly, and if you're not paying attention, you can be off the back. But pretty experienced crew here tonight in this race by the look of it. No attrition yet. As we come up to that first point, you can see it on the mini-map now, that rise does kick up.
And there's no power-ups as yet. As we enter in, we haven't gone through any banners. So the starting pens actually start just after the lap banner of Park Rumor. So no power-ups as yet. But where we started to descend, if you get an anvil, that's the only place you want to use it on this course.
Absolutely. I forgot we had the anvil in play tonight. That's not exactly, a race-winning power-up, we think it's fair to say, but it adds some interest.
You just got to know when to use it. The only time an anvil is worth using is on a descent, and you've got to know that it lasts for 30 seconds. And this is this little left-hander here as you veer around. This is where it kicks up. You can see those numbers 6, 7, 8, 9%. Couple of riders starting just to lose contact in the back here, but we can see some orange numbers at the top of the field. This is where you really got to push. 9% you'll max out there. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. This is seems to be a fairly coordinated move here. Number of riders just either choosing to attack here or just responding to the orange numbers. We saw over 8 watts a kilo there. As we have Bratz from WMZ on the front, now coasting down this hill. He's done some damage. Really stretched that out. That happened very quickly. That first part of the hill was fairly sedate. And then all of a sudden, let's go back and have a look at some of these gaps, because we've got riders all over the road all of a sudden, and it looks like a couple may just have been gapped by that surge.
And a really key point is that veering of the left. You can see the road veer off to the left or go straight to get up onto the all the skyline stuff. We're not going there this week. We are staying on the ground. So when you veer left, get ready to kick.
Yeah, plenty of challenge, even though we're not going up on those glass roads. We just saw 8.5 watts a kilo there from Adam Evans from AHDR just to bridge back. That's a nasty start on lap 1 for this second group that have just managed to latch back on to the peloton here. But yeah, 2 sets of intervals with right up in the 8+ watts a kilo range. That's a nasty little pinch.
So Espen joining us on the chat, and also Rob Bain. Good to see you, Rob. The question Espen's throwing out is, do you bin the anvil or do we hold on to it? There is only one spot, and I agree with Cy Bradley on this one. On his recon, there's only one spot that you can use that anvil, otherwise I'm binning it.
Yeah, agreed. Tempting that might be just try and kind of add a little bit of weight on that downhill to the intermediate sprint. Going to be paying for it in the section immediately after, trying to hold on or loop back in.
That's the thing. The sprint is the segment itself is only 150 meters, and then it turns into a nice false flat at 1-2% straight away. So you'd want to be really sure of your legs.
Yeah, I don't need to be any heavier through that patch. Doing quite enough of that all on my own without the assistance of a power-up. So I think if you're unlucky enough to get it through the intermediate banner, you might choose to just dump it and hope for something a little bit more useful that you might be able to use to latch back on or attack. I think that anvil.
It does depend on where you get it. I think if you're in it and what you want to do and what the team strategy is. I know if I was to pick one up through the segment banner, the sprint banner, I'd dump it because it's not going to help me at all throughout that, the rest of the lap, let's call it. If I get it at the lap banner, I'll use it when we start that descent into Harlem Hill.
Yeah, why not?
As we come around, that's the only time that I'll use it.
A little bit bonus recovery, perhaps.
Exactly.
And part of me likes the idea that maybe if there's a few anvils in the course, that we could actually see a little bit of a split, maybe down that hill going into that prize, and it could actually be an interesting one, but I kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit of a fizzle of a power up the anvil selection tonight.
It's a complete defensive move if I was to use the anvil just for some extra rest.
Yeah, very good. So hello to Jeff Morton watching again. Hello, Jeff. Not racing this week. Lucky you. This is going to be a tough one for sure. And yeah, good call from Rob, I thought. Number one, that the echo was actually Josh's fault. Of course it was Josh's fault.
Yeah, we realised this straight after the stream. Although I was boasting that it was all Adam, yes, I do realise it was me, so I'm happy to take the blame for that. I'm one of those guys that I'll be accountable.
But best commentary on the internet, says Rob, real races, absolutely, real organic. And tell you what, here we are, we're heading up into this intermediate sprint. This has caught me a little off guard. We're starting off very early up that rise. This is one of the trickiest sprints in all of Zwift, if you ask me. As we see Talbot from Coalition going over this crest, but it's a difficult one. You don't want to hit the front too early. And we see Chong from WM from Wes.
Oh no! Clicked the wrong one.
Lost it.
Adam lost it.
No, I've done that one.
What I will comment on that though, what we did see was it lighting up early, and I think that's where you really need to go. You need to follow those wheels up that little pinch and then kick again. Now, I'm not a sprinter, but I have, Adam, I don't know if you remember, I came second in a sprint on this course, on that segment. Do you remember when we were doing classics? No, it was the Asian races on the Monday night.
Oh yeah, we did have, yeah.
Yeah.
We did have a good race around here. Missed there's a bit too much going on there. A few too many changes in position there, and I've missed the end of that sprint. But the Coalition team in these distinctive pink jerseys looked like they really took it up first. We did see Chong from Wes in amongst it as well, and Peter Z was the other team I thought that was prominent there. So early advantage Coalition by my calculations, just on weight of numbers, having a look at the front of the peloton coming through that sprint. But an interesting one. And as you say, Josh, kicking off very early. So one to watch as soon as you come sort of down the hill, hit that roundabout, you're pretty much heading straight uphill, and that's where it did kick up to 12, 15 watts a kilo. So critical point of the race.
So who's the rider there in the blue and the stripe down the middle? There was a couple of those guys in there, the yellow stripe down the middle. See, Wes riders. They, I think they attacked that sprint really well.
Yeah, so the Wes Sharks actually our number one team in the league so far on 40 points, so 2 wins from 2. And the Coalition Genesis, who we saw in amongst it as well as second on 36 points. So, and Peter Z, who we also saw in amongst it, they're our third team on 36 points as well. So those top 3 teams definitely stamping their authority on this one. AHDR didn't see them at the pointy end of that sprint, but they're sitting in 4th overall, and the WMZ almost stars. A great team name, they're 1 point behind AHDR All for Cake in 5th, and a bit of a logjam really after that on this segment in this overall league table. So yeah, Wes with the blue with the orange stripe, the Coalition in the pink, and then Peter Z with the sort of sunset gradient colours. The top 3 teams in the league at the moment, the ones to watch, and no surprises there seeing them all prominent in that first sprint.
I'm just waiting for some with power data. Haven't got anything yet.
We've got Dylan.
This is a pretty little field.
Yeah, nice little compact field. So we've lost a couple there through the intermediate sprint and up that first hill. As we see, a few feathers popped on this tricky little pinch up to the banner. Always a tough little section, but I don't think it's long enough to really do any major damage here, Josh.
No, and I mean, look, that's why wouldn't you pop a feather there just to help you out of that little pinch and then pick up another power up through the banner?
Absolutely. We did see some. It looked like G1 from Wes did decide to just a little bit of spice into that one. It's opened up a little 3-second gap here, which is interesting. So Field sort of letting him go there, just kind of trying to get up all together in a group, and letting G1 from Wes off the front. Tough place to stay away though, Josh. Not a lot of gradients here to help him out, and the group can see he was 3 seconds ahead.
That's right. Yeah, you sort of really want to, if you're going to go aggressive, you want to go kind of straight after the sprint. We mentioned earlier there's that sort of false flat at 1-2% straight after the sprint. And then there's sort of rolling, and then obviously we've just seen that last little pinch over through the lap banner. You sort of want to be relatively aggressive around there to try and counter the tired legs from the sprint, and try and force a bit of a split in the bunch and a chase from people that want to chase.
Yeah, so just looking at YouTube comments, we do have my good friend Dylan Jones, who I raced with
I
last
saw that.
season, in the
Yeah.
comments, throwing jabs as usual about my camera work. Fair call, Dylan. I got to cop that one. That was we messed up the first intermediate sprint, so lucky we've got a couple more to go. Uh, yeah, Rob Bain throwing out a theory that maybe our leader here was thinking there were some bonus points there through the lap spinner. I don't know, possibly. Uh, I'm not sure, although the way he's going on with it suggests that that was a bit of a strategic move to try and open up a bit of a gap. Maybe hoping that a couple came with him and they could establish a bit of a breakaway. But
Well, interestingly, this bunch isn't really pushing that hard.
no, they're sort of letting this lone leader just dangle a
Yeah.
bit. He's stretched out to 5 seconds now. I'm holding some big numbers here, 5, 6 watts a kilo. And just, yeah, being left to his own devices here, actually stretching out his lead. So Bunch seem to be quite happy to save their legs for that Harlem Hill and intermediate sprint.
Good science to race on what else is happening in all the other leagues. I hope that my league does the same thing, which
Yeah,
I doubt. Yeah.
looking at the numbers back in the peloton, we're sort of not seeing much above 3.5 watts a kilo, and a few sort of
No.
just sitting in at 2.5 or 3. They're my kind of numbers. I quite happily would sit in at that sort of pace. So yeah, what's this lone leader just holding a nice pace, 177 beats a minute, so working fairly hard to extend this lead, and we'll see what he does as we get to this descent and then up around Harlem Hill, whether he can attack again or whether the speed from the peloton. I'm assuming that we'll see another big surge up that second after that sharp left-hander and that steeper part of the climb. We'll
Yeah.
perhaps see them reel in a bit of time on this leader.
Well, I mean, yeah, look, he's very much committed, isn't he? He's keeping his cadence nice and high, so he's committed to this. Um, let's just see. I think it's worth keeping an eye on and what else he can do. Is he trying to sneak some easy points? Well, not easy, I should say, but some sneaky points, in the next segment.
It's a long way to go for some bonus points, that's for sure. He would have earned it if he can make it to that next intermediate sprint and claim the 10
Yeah.
points for first across the line. Gets a little bit of respite now here down this very long, steep hill. Super tuck opportunity for those that want it, although G1 here seems to be quite happy to keep pushing and holding that gap. Although, as I say that, the group kind of making the most of the weighted numbers there and closing to 5 seconds now, as we do get onto the steepest part of the course coming around this corner. Shout out to Roman in the YouTube comments. So remember your Roman fondly from last season. Always doom and gloom, and we had nothing but bad news for Roman. He'd watch and just be dreading what was coming in his upcoming race. And Roman, I'm afraid not a lot of good news for you on this one either, as we see some orange numbers start popping off
Look
up
at
this
G1
climb.
just get swallowed. That's 5 seconds just disappeared straight away.
That just absolutely it did. And Pico from Wes has decided to go on with the job, pushing
This is
13 watts a
interesting.
kilo with the
Yeah.
feather over the top. Thank you very much. This is a serious attack now, and maybe close enough to that intermediate where he can get away and take some points.
Yeah, that's a really interesting move there. We did see a lot of numbers. Still got the hardest part of that kick to go, which is as he comes around now, still holding 6 watts per kilo. So he's got to go. He's holding it. He's going to go 10%, just getting over. Will he be able to hold until the sprint? I think there's just a little bit too much urgency from the group behind. I don't
Think
think he will.
so. We're sort of dropping the 6 watts a kilo kind of limits. We're seeing orange numbers pop off left, right, and center in the group behind, up to 9, 10 watts a kilo. But it's managed to hold a little bit of a gap there. So we've got a nice little cat and mouse chase here now through these gentler rolling hills, fast section of the course down here. Another little super tuck opportunity, perhaps, for those that want it. And let's see if this peloton can reel in this lone leader here and stop him from claiming all 10 points across our second intermediate sprint.
So Chris Davies called it early. He said, leave Jiwong out there on his own. He'll knacker himself out and won't last. And you're right, Chris.
Yeah, good call. As we see the Peter team just sort of moving through the pack here, chasing down our lone leader from Wes, Pico from Wes. And they have made the gap here, maybe opened up a little bit of... Or could we see a little bit of a breakaway get away here? It's going to depend if these riders can get themselves working together. Interesting mix of teams. So 2 from Peter Z, 2 from from Wes. So if they can work together here, they might be able to put their rivals coalition just in a little bit of a little bit of pain, Josh.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no reason why they can't. I don't think they've got the organisation so close to the segment. I think everyone's thoughts are on the segment. There is actually now a little bit few riders coming across the join. So there is definitely an option here for these guys if they can keep pushing together.
Yeah, it's a messy second lap here. So we saw the attacks go early up Harlem Hill and then again over the top of Harlem Hill. And yeah, we've got a bit of a messy chase here. So peloton fracturing a little bit, not a lot of organisation at the front just yet. It does look like they're going to get reeled in, but there's some damage at the back here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a sort of a push like that last week, actually, and it really hurt the legs. So, I mean, this is probably what those teams are thinking if we can stretch it out. I did say I was surprised on how slow it was around after that last segment through the lap banner. So maybe this is the counter to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, so they let G1 out through the lap banner, taking off. He took off. He's now spent. He's been dropped by this counter-attack by his teammates, which has continued on. So we've lost a couple more riders here, so down to 23 in contention in the peloton. Let's have a look and see whether they've managed to close this gap yet. And
not quite.
Holding about that 2 seconds by the look of it. Not too far to go now either to that second intermediate. So interesting times here for this race and whether this group can get a little bit of organisation. It just looks at the moment like the peloton's got a bit more intent to close down than they do to stay away.
I was just having a quick look. Finally got some results here from that first intermediate. It was Cheong from Wes who took first place. Devlin, can't see who he is for. I'll look that up in a second. Coalition, WMZ. So I definitely, I was impressed with the Wes sort of following through that kick over the little sprint, over the little pincher into the sprint, I should say. So I'm not surprised we see those at the top.
Yeah, so this gap's getting a little bit dangerous now. We've got 3 Wes riders and 2 from Peter Z up the front. Starting to look a bit more cohesive and opening up 3 seconds now as we come onto this critical right-hand turn. The road is going to pitch up a little bit, and we've got a group here of 7 riders chasing the premium points in this intermediate sprint. Let's see if the peloton can muster enough of a surge to reel them in, but they might have enough numbers here to get up and over.
And it was Cheong that took it on that last sprint. So is this someone catching and going over?
Yeah, they've caught up. They've gone straight over the top. Devlin from Wes taking the
Devlin from Wes. There you go. So it was Wes 1-2 on that last one.
Yeah, so he's taken the initiative. 13 watts a kilo with the aero power up. He's opened up a nice gap too. That was a brilliant move coming through the peloton with the catch, making the most of the draft. And he's got that one all sewn up. Kempe from Coalition, Talbot from Coalition, pushing hard, and then we have a bunch finished there for the minor points. So good to see AHDR represented, and then a mix of teams taking out the rest of the minor points. But beautifully timed sprint there from Devlin, making the most of the aero and the draft through the group as the peloton made the catch, and just seemed to catch them a little bit off guard there, never looking down.
No, I think I'm just really impressed with, and there you go. Wes happy with their work that they're doing.
Yeah, it looks like some good coordination there. And another little split opening up. This has been a messy race so far. So a bit of work here to do for this second group on the road just to make it up to the peloton, as we see Rob Reg from Aero, who I've raced against a number of times. And around this course as well, he was a regular on our LaGuardia loop races around this little section of the course. So he's in this chasing group trying to get back on. And then we've got a couple of seconds gap now to a couple of riders who might just have done their dough in that second intermediate sprint. Haynes from WMZ and Frost from Coalition. That gap is starting to open up. This is a horrible place to be. One I know well, unfortunately. Just watching this gap to the peloton stretch out to 5 seconds now. So, and maybe even these two riders here from Aero, maybe just a little bit too far off, and we might be saying goodbye to the peloton for them as well. We're down to a group of 18 riders, 19 riders now, contesting this one, unless we can sort of see a miracle off the back. But not sure we'll see sort of an Annie kind of chase here. Josh?
No, I don't think so. Those Aero guys at the back were pushing for that sprint too, so they're sort of on tired legs trying to get back on. So it's very interesting to see that this field literally halved in 2 laps.
Yeah, lots of attrition. Messy, aggressive race so far. See some really great effort here from Haynes from WMZ. He's actually managing to make the catch here. He's latching back on. And Frost from Coalition's come with him. I've written both of these guys off. But really nice ride there as Frost is just in that horrible dangling spot. And
just there. He just needs to push. He just needs that, like a little... He's trying.
He's trying. Maybe it's a little bit of respite down this little hill and maybe one last surge to bridge this gap, hopefully.
That's it. Bike choice for you tonight, Adam.
Oh, good question.
Did a little close up on the canyon and zips there.
We did indeed. I haven't thought about it too much. That tells you what chances I think I have of being at the pointy end of this race tonight. I might just go the classic Tron. It looks particularly good with our vintage jersey that we're racing with Team Sisu this season.
Okay.
And a popular choice here amongst the A graders as well.
Yeah, look, I've called a Tron for the team. That's what I'm thinking. I just want that little bit more all-rounder than the the S-Works Benj with disc. Just want that little bit more versatility with the Tron up those little pinches.
Yeah, it looks like we can see there at the front of the Peloton 1 S-Works disc combo, but the Tron's definitely ruling the roost of these elite group of riders here. Must be about 2/3 of the Peloton at the moment on the multicolored bikes. So, yeah, I think that's a fairly easy choice for me.
So probably seeing a little bit more of some controlled racing now, seeing as this group has made the split and happy with where they are in the race. And, we're only just over halfway through it. So maybe just happy just to sit in and ride around this lap.
Yeah, well, we've got, what have we got, three laps or 4 of this one?
4.
Josh.
Yep, that should be 4.
Back. You can tell that we were very well prepped tonight. Both just managed to get away from 4 laps tonight. Very good. That's right. We were talking about it last week, just how long a race that is for the C's and D's.
Yeah, so it should be it'll be a 38k race roughly for everyone.
Yeah, tough gig. You can understand why, just going through that halfway point, these riders are quite happy to sort of sit and maybe recover a little bit. Sort of seeing 3 watts a kilo in the peloton here. We've made this elite front selection and now just trying to pause, catch a little bit of breath, waiting for that next big move. And I mean, with this field, Josh could have come straight anyway. Not necessarily going to be on that Harlem Hill pinch.
Wow. Yeah. Look, I mean, a few sort of a bit of aggressive riding in places that I wouldn't have gone. I would love to have caused this result in my race tomorrow. This is very much where I'd like to be. and just ride with this group. I'd hope to have a few riders in this group from the team and just trying to pick up points on those sprints.
Yeah, I'll
What
tell
I
you
do
what.
need to ask though, where do we finish tonight? Do we finish on the sprint or the lap banner?
I believe it's a lap banner.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah, 39.2 kilometers. So yeah, we'll finish on the lap banner.
Finish on the lap banner.
That
Yep.
tricky little uphill kick, which does get quite steep, but it's also quite short. So
But I mean, in a group of 18, 20 here, there's some really good points up for grabs. You're sort of pushing around, even outside the top 10. It's 20, 19 points from 10 to 20th.
yeah,
So
so
some
big
good
points,
finish line points.
absolutely. And yeah, Wes have delivered a tactically excellent race so far. They've managed to get 5 riders here into this lead group. So while dropping a couple of their arch rivals as well. So Coalition's down to 4. I think Peter Z are down to 3. So those are our top 3 teams on the standings at the moment. Definitely advantage Wes. Their aggressive style is paying off here. They've managed to whittle this down to a group of about 18, 19 riders, and they've got the majority or the largest team left. So I guess we'll see whether they're happy with this composition or whether they're going to continue to go on the attack.
I would be completely happy at this point of the race and just trying to get points in that segment, keeping all 5 riders in this group. That's and we can see a few riders there take advantage of the power tuck.
You know what I've not seen?
Super tuck, I should say.
I've not seen a single anvil yet.
No.
Twice we've gone through here with power-ups in play, and yeah, maybe just, I don't know, maybe it's too short, maybe just too risky to.
So this little section here, just when they went into super tuck back, 10, 15 seconds there, that's where you might be able to, or even before that. No, it's not here. I wouldn't do it there.
Yeah, I get the feeling you'd have to probably pop it early so that it runs out before you hit this, because if you do it too late, yeah, it could be in for a world of pain.
You just do not want any uptime with an anvil.
No, absolutely not.
And
so that's a
Espen saying it's difficult to go for both final sprint and finish. Well, Espen, that's why we have more than one rider from the team in this front bunch.
Hopefully, yes.
So we, the Cape Crusaders have a very sort of strategic plan tomorrow, and this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. We will be talking to each other on Discord and deciding who's going to go for what when we get to this result. And that's the goal.
Yeah, once again, we see this left-hand turn and the steepest pinch of the Harlem Hill climb. Again, a spot to provoke some attacks, but just Brats from WMZ choosing to stretch the legs there on that one. We saw some orange numbers, but nothing too serious. He's got a second gap on the field, but I assume we're going to see this swallowed up pretty quickly. And even looking at the back of this peloton, looks like it was a bit more of a sedate climb and no damage this time around.
Yeah, I would have been completely happy just to stay in the bunch as we see Brats get picked up now and just save the legs for the sprint. It's all about the segment points now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you would think that anyone who's going to get shelled from this group is probably already off the back. It's going to be tough to distance any of these riders now. They're saying that. I do see a little blue dot left just dangling at the back here. We'll see if I pick up which rider that is. Hernandez from Inc. Just one surge too many, perhaps, for, I think he was the last representative of the Inc. Aliens team in this group. So good effort so far to hold on, but it looks like that third Harlem Hill.
Yeah.
Just one effort too many.
Just going back to power-ups for a second there, and YouTube, Ghost Face has commented, rumour is Ghost has replaced Anvil.
I have, that actually rings true, because I've seen a couple of Ghosts popular now. I haven't seen it used sort of as a weapon as such yet, but I definitely see some riders dumping it coming up to the banners. So very interesting.
There we go. That's
inside knowledge there from YouTube comments. Good call.
Yeah, thank you. Espen, yes, it won't be a problem for us because all 6 of us will be in this fun group. Plenty of options.
Plenty
Thank you.
options.
Yeah. No, although I'm not looking forward to the race tomorrow, I am looking forward just to the commitment to the team that the Cape Crusaders have. It's awesome fun.
Nice. Yeah, it hasn't been our Team Sisu race team in Atlantic hasn't been having as much fun, I'll have to say. We're perhaps a little outmatched. Anyone who's tuned into my live streams has seen that my friend and teammate David has done quite well. He's managed to be in amongst it for the sprint in the last 2 races. I have been well and truly off the pace, and you've been getting a nice view of the gruppetto, or perhaps just me riding solo off the back like we ended up last week around London. Certainly not my finest moment.
No, that's all right, Adam. Good to see you challenging yourself.
Yeah, giving it a go, racing up a grade.
That's it.
Still very much a B, despite what you may think, Josh. The numbers and performances
I mean, the
agree.
thing is, your sprint is up there with any A grader. But as any A grader knows, if they see someone with a sprint like yours, we try and put the hurt on
Yeah.
before we get to the sprint.
Yes, maybe I'll make one day. Although I think after this week, the series kind of takes a turn upwards. We've
Yeah.
obviously got the team time trial next week, so we'll have a week off the commentary because that's not particularly exciting to commentate, if you ask us. And
I
then
do want to just before we go on with that, Adam, I don't want to just want to highlight this little section as we head towards the segment. We've missed it the last couple of laps, but on this lap, I want to highlight nice sort of downhill. You can really rest before we hit that segment, and you can. I think this is where you can sort of really try and plan that early attack into the sprint. So we come around here, we will veer left again, I think, or round to the
we go
right.
right at this roundabout.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. But we can see we've got a nice sort of decline flat. So -1%, 0% now. And interestingly enough, as I picked that up, our sprint information has come up. And that's where we're seeing a bit of work being done to stretch out and go early on this. And look at those orange numbers light up.
Yeah, we've got a couple gone early here. Trees from P to Z, closely followed by Chong from Wes, who's going up and over the top here, catching sight of the banner now. We'll sort of just zoom out and see whether anyone's going to catch these two. They went early, big move here coming from Devlin from Wes. We've seen that name a number of times tonight. He's got the watts. He's going to come over the top. Chong looks like he's going to hold on for second. 1-2 Wes. 1-2-4 for Wes with Pico coming in there over the top with a really nice surge at the end too. So yeah, Wes got the numbers and got the watts as well by the look of it tonight. So
and started early after that nice descent coming through. It wasn't much, just that. And as soon as you start seeing it hit around that 0% and it flattens out, the arrow got popped. Chong went for it. That's just going to be a nice little section. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, it looks like a few riders choosing to go early and pop the power up. Knowing that they're probably it's not gonna last until the end, but trying to get a gap there, and it still paid out for those early attackers. Got some big points, didn't get the maximum points, but caught enough of the peloton by surprise to open up a gap and
like
get
the
over
team
the
did
top.
though. Look at Wes took 1, 2, and 4.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was a really nicely orchestrated attack there. I was going to sit in with Murphy from Aero, kind of moved very quickly through the peloton there. It looked like that was just catching on and catching some nice draft. We do have a little bit of damage at the back, though. Looks like we're down to 17 riders as Haynes from WMZ and Fowler from WMZ. Just a little bit too much carry through that sprint and falling off the back. So we're down to a lead group of 17 now, just a little bit more attrition in this lead group. And Wes continuing to dominate with 5 of the 17 top riders.
Yeah, no, very good riding by them. That's benchmark riding. That's the standard. I think that's what you need to do around this course, and they're doing it well.
Yeah, absolutely. They've taken this race by the scruff of the neck, controlled things. They've attacked, they've counter-attacked. Just a classic, a real class in in team coordination, and really enjoying seeing the encouragement as well. So after each segment, they're jumping on the messages, they're being vocal. So maybe
Pico at the back, just loving the work by the team.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah, they're really staying very tuned in. You can kind of just tell that they're planning this out. They're going in with a strategy. They know exactly who's got to be where, and so they can see whether or not they're pulling it off or not. So really nice work here from the Wes team. Some good lessons here, I think, for any of us who are in a similar position trying to strategize around a team for these courses.
Well, the good thing is that it's confirming the strategy that I've come up with, Adam. So I'm hoping that we can pull a similar result off tomorrow. At least have a 4 or 5 riders in this group, in this lead group, doing what these guys are doing.
Yeah, very nice here from Wes. As we come around, we're going to get the bell here going through the lap banner. A couple of riders dropping power-ups just to burn them. No real aggression here shown by this group. Looks like we're happy once again to cruise around to the Harlem Hill. We'll see what happens there. Whether there's anyone thinking long range, that's probably a little bit too long range, but kind of get that feeling it could be in for a bit of a spicy finish from the intermediate onwards. Josh, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see some efforts here try and go long and take steal this win.
Yeah, definitely. We might see the counter after the segment for the win, overall win. Good points that are available up the pointy end of. But if you're getting 3-4 riders in that top 10 every time, that's the segment is where you're going to claim a lot of the points, and they're already in the top 20 anyway. So everyone's walking away with 20 or 19 points minimum.
Yeah. And if I'm not wearing a Wes jersey, I do not want to be sprinting against them in the finale. They've been dominant through the intermediates. So, hopefully we see some resistance shown from Coalition or Peter Z.
Coalition definitely need to do something here. They've got 4 riders there. They need to sort of stop sitting in and have a go as well. But you mentioned we've got time trial next week. Back to what we're talking about, time trial next week, which I'm quite excited about. Actually, you should see the just the power unit that we've got lined up for the time trial. It's going to be good fun. I don't think anyone's got anything under a 5 watt per kilo 20-minute power. So we should be fun. And then as you said, we're going a bit more uphill the week after around Climbers Gambit.
Yeah, well, Temples and Towers first. So back to Neokio.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yep.
So we've got one lap of that one, and that might be a new route to a lot of people. It's a fairly new route to the game of Zwift, but we do go up the rooftop KOM, which we saw already in the series, and then we've got the castle climb and the temple climb. So a bit of gravel, the steamroller power-ups in play for that one. So that's going to be a fascinating kind of lead-up week discussing bike choices and strategy. And then, the big one, Climbers Gambit. So through Titans Grove and up the epic KOM. So big mountain right in the middle of the series.
Yeah, it's I don't mind Climbers Gambit. I did the Climbers Gambit back in the Zwift Academy. Just that sort of the test ride at the start and the finish, and actually quite enjoyed it. It's not a bad course. It really sort of, you've got that early sprint, and then the sort of 2-3 minute effort through Titans Grove, and then you climb at the end.
Nice one. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I haven't seen too many of these kind of long mountains in the Zwift Racing League. Inevitably, they sort of seem to lead to, well, in the lower grades, at least, disqualifications and people going way over their 20-minute power numbers, because it's pretty rare that we actually do get to test ourselves on these kind of courses.
Bit of a move in the bunch here, yeah.
Yeah, we've jumped in. I think we might have a lap. I don't know. We've got Pete Adams from Inc. At the front, and we saw was it an aero rider just taking this race on a little bit.
Yeah, look, I saw a ghost go. I saw a rider pop up and was definitely had intentions of trying to get away, which did cause a reaction. Things starting to come back together a little bit, but that won't go without hurting a bit of legs out in that.
No, a little bit of a surprise there as well. So just kind of a quiet part of the course, these gentle rollers around to the main climb on the circuit. So yeah, nice little move there. A bit of aggression with the Ghost.
Mm. So I
So
mean, we'll stop talking about Anvil because we haven't seen any, and we've seen Ghost. So
yeah,
that was
we can say that's
just
official.
intentional use of the Ghost there, causing this group just to really work as they, maybe trying to catch a couple of riders out. Everyone able to stay on, but I tell you what, I know this part of the race, nearly 45 minutes in, your legs are tired, and you've got this kicker about to kick in, so it would have taken a toll on a few riders there.
Yeah, it's definitely everyone's hurting. It's just a question of who's hurting the least, I guess, and who can work through the pain here to put some.
And Wes back on the front, causing some aggression. Costa with the feather, creating a reaction.
Yeah, we've got Delama from Peter D just zipping up to his wheel. Costa going again at 10 watts a kilo. Not going to, because his feathers run out, doesn't mean his legs have run out. He's going to kick on again. Delama going with him though, and these two is kicking away here. 3 seconds opened up in fairly quick time. We'll see what they can do on this steeper second half of the course.
Interestingly, Pico from Wes just said something about Devlin. I can still see Devlin in that group.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about.
Yeah.
Maybe a delayed, I don't know, delayed reaction from his earlier move, or what that was, but
Devlin's still there, and we've got Costa up ahead, and a decent gap. Delama just hanging on, but Costa committed to this now.
Yep, absolutely. Looks like he's made that choice there, conscious choice to go there, had the feather. He's got one passenger with him, but I know this is kind of feeling like a bit of a dangerous gap, Josh. I'm not sure that the group's going to have a whole lot of interest in chasing this down.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they've done Wes again a very tactical race. I'm impressed.
Yeah, so Pico obviously either doesn't have Discord or hasn't mastered the art of Discord or private messaging. So Wes just kind of putting their strategy out here in public for all of us to tune in. So just letting his teammates know that there's a Wes rider at the front. So they're not going to chase. They're quite happy to sit in. It's going to fall to their rivals here to see if they can bring this back.
And I'm just looking. We haven't actually seen. I know Costa's picked up some points along the way. He's definitely been in the top 10 a couple of times. So he's not a rider to dismiss, although who have we got? Chong chasing back.
Interesting move here. So Chong deciding to go across to his teammate Costa at the front. And
keep going.
Yeah, Trace from Peter Z also deciding to make that jump, and so now things are getting really interesting. We've got two sets of two teammates here up the front, and yeah, they might just. What have we got left? We've got still got about 5 kilometers to ride with that intermediate sprint chucked in the middle there.
Yeah.
But some exciting tactics here from these two teams. As Chong goes again up to 8 watts a kilo, so real intent here being shown from these guys. We've got Delama at 7+ watts a kilo on the front, setting a cracking pace as they try and open up this gap from 5 seconds to see if they can go all the way here with a group of 4 to the line and just take this from out under the peloton's nose.
I mean, you've got 2 other riders that are interested in doing it. You may as well go with it. You've got the 6-7 second gap. Just push. This is your race finish here. These aren't riders that haven't featured in the top 10 of each of these segments, especially from Wes anyway. I can't speak for the other Peter guys at the moment. Let me get back on that one. Here we got Delama.
Yeah, we've got some nice rotations happening here as well. We've seen Treese and Delama sort of swapping 6.5, 7 watts per kilo turns. Wes so far fairly happy to sit in, although as I say that Costa pushes up to the front along with Delama, although Peter Z definitely looking to be driving this breakaway at the moment and opening up a 9-second gap now on the peloton. So this is looking, I have to say, box seat here for this breakaway group.
And I mean, this is good for Wes because it's we're a coalition.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
Wes and Peter Z got to be
So
stoked with
yeah,
this outcome at the moment.
yeah.
You think for the Wes, I think this one locked up. So Peter Z seeing an opportunity here to take second spot from the coalition team, and yeah, not seeing a real reaction there. We've
So
got
Dalama has featured in the segments prior to this. Who's the other rider there? Treese. Treese has been there too. So this is good for both Wes, probably best for Wes. Peter definitely sort of making themselves known. Impressive for these guys to take the points on this next segment. I think they've got it.
yeah, well, they won't be caught 11-second gap now going into this intermediate sprint. So we'll see whether or not are they
And this is
thinking
this
about
downhill that I was talking about.
that key point again on this big sweeping right hand corner up this rise. So we'll see whether how much interest there is here between in this group of the intermediate sprint, or are they thinking finish at this point?
Well, 10, 11 seconds. They could keep going. Oh, why not?
Yeah, they're
Depends on how
definitely.
much they put on the line here for this sprint.
Yeah,
It's
so
definitely not as much as earlier.
no,
A
nothing
reaction
like
from a
the.
reaction from the group behind. So I'd be taking the points where I can here. The llama pushing well. Nicely
Yeah, it
timed with the
looks.
arrow there as well.
Yeah, nice little move there from Delama. So didn't have to go too hard there, not like the Watts we saw previously take out a sprint. So quite happy this group just to sort of leave it to quite late there and just sort of claim a few points. And now it's all about the finish line. So we did see some big numbers there from the back chasing, fifth through to 10th there. There's still some decent points on offer. Still some double-digit watt per kilo numbers coming out of the peloton as they now assemble for this chase, but
Yeah,
it's not a very organised group. That sprint's done some damage.
not
Uh,
at all.
they've got some work here to do if they're going to assemble a nice-looking group here to chase down these leaders. We've got an 8-second gap now with our four riders from WMZ and Peter Z. Only a couple of kilometres to go. Who's your money on, Josh? I'm backing the breakaway.
What do they got? 10 seconds. Yeah, look, I mean, they're pushing on with it, aren't they? Oh, let's go with it.
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit too much strength, too much coordination here in this group of four. If we go back to the peloton and just have a look, have they managed to get themselves back together? At least they're back in a group. And let's just have a look here at the dynamics and see whether we've got any intent. Obviously, the Wes riders, they're going to be quite happy to sit in. The Peter Z rider is going to be happy to sit in. Really going to be up to
And
Coalition,
like
WMZ, and
coalition,
Aero.
yeah, it's you know, just not maybe just don't have the legs tonight to do what they want to really push through. But
Looks like it's very cagey group here at the moment, fanned out all the way
yeah,
across the
look at
road. That's
yes.
not, that is a very wide looking peloton with only a kilometre to go now. That gap's out to 14 seconds. The win is going to go to one of these four riders at the front. Brilliant race from these riders to kick again around Harlem Hill at the bottom. And then a couple of riders bridging over the top as well to make this group of four. So really nicely timed tactics here from this group, and they've worked well together, and they're going to share in the spoils.
And I think look, Wes have got to take the win overall today because you then think about who's Devlin is in that bunch back that will sprint for fifth and easily take fifth. Then you know Pico will probably pick up some points as well because he's sitting on the back messaging everybody for the last half an hour. So
Yep. All right, coming up
here we go as it lights up.
to the final pinch now. So a bunch of arrows. Looks like Costa from Wes has the best legs. Lama from Peter Z though. Grinding. Is it going to be enough? Chong from Wes. Huge
John
numbers.
just coming over the top.
15.
Wide.
What's a
That was
kilo?
nicely timed.
Thank you very
Well,
much. He's taken that one out. I'm going to jump back into the bunch sprint for fifth before I get kicked out of following these guys. So we've got the
well done.
looks like Stuart from
Orchid
AH.
cake. Just a little bit of a
Or has he been? He might have been lapped. We see Devlin here, as you mentioned, sprinting for fifth. No, he's going to. So
no, he's
Coalition have decided they do have some cards left to play here right at the end. Coalition and Wes going over the line together to sort of make round out the top 10. But it's always tonight brilliantly executed team race. Some strong individual performances, some great team tactics. We saw them attacking, we saw them counter-attacking, timing the intermediates well, sharing the work, and then when they had the winning move there with the two Peter Z riders, just working nicely and extending the gap and taking out the win. So well done.
Great race. Very good race by Wes. Like, I mean, can't fault it really.
No, very hard
Well,
to.
who was our early breakaway artist on the
Yeah,
second lap?
G1 who sort of took one for the team,
Took one for the team.
made that first attack and then didn't have the legs to hold on after that when the pace surged again. But it was, I guess, the first shot across the bow from Wes. They showed they were here to race, and so I guess we saw.
He was just, I just think he was unlucky not to get a reaction from the group there. But I mean, can't be unhappy with the overall there. That's fantastic.
No, absolutely not. That was a brilliantly executed team race, and yeah, I guess we've got a little bit of insight there into what the tactics might be here. So that second half of Harlem Hill is definitely a watch point if the group doesn't go earlier. And then as soon as you sort of come out of that descent before the intermediate sprint, it's going to kick off pretty much as soon as you stop seeing negative numbers and it flattens out. So tricky one to time up that rise and then down the hill. But we've seen aero, some good, nice use of the aero power up to go early, capture that speed off the descent and kick away and get a bit of a gap. So
and no anvil.
No anvil, but the ghost is in play.
Ghostface, someone on YouTube.
Yes, Ghostface 643, appropriately named, knows all about the ghosts. So that's one to watch. I mean, not a bad little intermediate for a ghost actually. Given that it does tend to, with that uphill section, it sort of can reward the early attack and the surprise attack. So that'll be one to watch. Yep,
definitely. That's where I'll pop that one as well.
All right. Well, we've been popped in here with Jay New on his shiny red Trek. He's going up the glass roads. He's more than welcome to do that. I am done for tonight. I'm going to go and prepare for my own race. We'll see how long we can hang on around those rolling roads of New York. So, great job. Great job tonight, Josh. Really enjoyed the chat as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We actually had some really good numbers. I think we had about 13 or 15 people watching and joining in the chat. So, always fun on race night. We'll take a week off next week for the time trial, planning on being back for our first really hilly points race around Temples and Towers in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, Adam. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Catch you later.